Today we're going to talk about how narcissists use you to regulate their own emotions. The thing about narcissists is that they have never truly sat down and healed to their core their own wounds and their own dysfunction that they've seen around them growing up or either experienced, and so they are just forced, or it's a choice. Comment down below whether you think that they act on choice or if this is just subconscious the programming that they act on. But let's just say they decide to face all the scrutiny outward and just relinquish any sort of self-reflection or self-awareness. Because let's be real about it, if they were going to sit inside or sit in that core feeling and those core wounds that they have, it would be extremely painful for them. It'd be so hard. And if you've been on the other side experiencing narcissistic abuse, you know how painful it is to just sit there and feel through all the pain and the emotions that you have. And so just imagine them doing it. Like, they don't have the strength to do that. They refuse to self-reflect, and they actually miss out on like such deep human levels of self-reflection and growth and evolution and self-development that they just miss out on. Like, have you ever thought about how they just always have horrible, crazy exes, or everyone around them is just, manipulative, or every friend they have, they lose that friend and it's that friend's fault. It's never their fault. It's because every time conflict comes up, they can't meet someone in the middle. They can't have compassion. They can't have empathy. They can't have a theory of mind and think of another person's perspective and then also show grace to that person when they also feel hurt. They need to just take. And you, being a survivor, you're probably very empathetic. And even though you have been wronged, you still understand they are human and you want to give them the reassurance, the validation that they need, whilst thinking that they'll give it back to you in return, but they never do. So you pretty much are in a deeper negative. They hurt you and now you're apologizing to them or you're soothing them. And it's through those confrontations where they show their true colors. Their lack of ability to experience and have conflict resolution, their lack of the ability to regulate their own emotions. I've noticed by just time and time again that they use you to regulate their own emotions. They justify going off on you, belittling you, hurting you, and saying, well, you caused it, so let me let this out on you. And they want you to sit down and just accept it because you caused it, and they have every right to do that. So boom, they walk away feeling so relieved, so released. They just let out all that energy on you, and now they're okay, they're good. And then you're just stuck with what? You're stuck with being wrong to begin with, and then them justifying, them going off on you on top of that. Like, being scapegoated especially is just not for the weak at all. And this is why we have to learn how to notice when they do this and withdraw ourselves, let them sit, disengage automatically in conflict, because they're going to use you to regulate their own emotions. And so if you don't allow your presence to be there, they have no one to do that on, or they'll pick someone else to spew that negativity onto. I've actually been told by one of the narcs in my life that I'm supposed to just sit there and let them scream in my face. And I was just like, no, I'm not gonna accept and tolerate this. This is emotional abuse. You're just you're going off on me instead of having a normal conversation. They just are incapable of it, and that's how they try to force and train you to comply to their dysfunction. They can't self-soothe, so you become their trash can. You become their nervous system, their punching bag, their audience, their regulator. And if you don't fall and play into that role, then they get mad and spiral and they blame you for it even more. You know what's the twisted part is that sometimes they won't just use you in a normal conflict that happens in relationships. They'll instigate and trigger themselves. They'll instigate situations so that they can relieve their own inner tension onto you. They'll poke, provoke, and insult you, do whatever to get you, as you should, justifiably angry, or to get you to snap. And then they're calm and they're like, oh, okay, until you say something messed up, in their eyes, and they're like, oh, you're gonna talk to me like that? And then they have every right now to just go off on you. It is emotional possession. They use you and your body as a dumping bag to just put all of that into, while they walk away feeling lighter, huh? and you're left carrying something that was never yours to carry. Know that you aren't crazy for feeling so dysregulated around them. You were used as a container for someone else's emotions because they lacked the capacity or the strength or the courage or the humanity to actually deal with it themselves without hurting other people, without dumping it on other people, without making it your responsibility. They outsourced all of their inner work to you. And healing and thriving beyond this first begins with understanding that regulating your own emotions is every person's individual responsibility, and separating their tasks with your task. With you, that's not your responsibility to regulate their own emotions. So you're able to walk away in situations where they're trying to put you in that box. This is Aisha, and here we'll thrive beyond the abuse, beyond the narcissistic abuse. We're done focusing on them. We're done watching videos about their tactics and manipulation. Here we're actually going to learn how to actually heal and move on and thrive and live our best lives without them and beyond. They're beyond them. Thank you for listening. Hope it helps. Comment down below anything. I'll respond. Love you guys. Mwah.